I am writing about the real rules of dealing with adult bullies.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
could talk to you about that. I could give you so many case studies because I've been in the
Okay.
corporate world for a long time.
Yeah, but I'm
And
in
you know what?
the
People
real
don't
world
speak up when
stuff.
they're in that world. It's when
Yeah,
they
but
leave that world.
what annoys me about it is everything that you read about it is the same as nonsense as you read about bullying in schools. And tell the
Exactly.
teacher and she'll do this and she'll do that. And I'm like, no, there's actual real rules to this. One is that you cannot appease a tyrant. You can't bend
Yeah.
enough, you can't give them enough, you can't kiss their ass enough. Sooner or later, they're going to want something you can't give them. And in fact, the
Yeah.
more time you spend appeasing them before you get to that point, the harder it's going to be. The more you
Yeah.
lose, the dirtier that fight is going to be. The second is that you're going to be on your own. And that's what hurts people the most when they take on, because they think, all these people who spent all this time moaning, bitching, and whining with you in the break room about, Vincent from accounts, you think that they're going to support you when you stick your head above the parapet and finally report him, because we've all suffered from this guy for the last
Yeah.
3 years, and you report him to senior management and you are now a pariah. And these
Yeah.
people will come to you and they'll tell you things that are happening. So
Yeah.
the ring you outside of work and they'll say, oh well, I saw Vincent talking to so and then so and so said whatever, and then, Vincent said the thing. And you say, okay, well, can you submit a report to say that you heard Vincent saying the thing? Oh God, no, 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 because you're on your own.
Yeah.
And you need to make your peace with that. If you decide that you're going to take on one of these guys, you need to make your peace with that. And
Yeah.
so I think that people are so broken. What happens is toxic situation. Eventually, somebody takes it on. That person is ruthlessly punished, excluded from the company, leaves broken,
Yeah.
takes months to recover before finally
Hmm.
going into the workplace and then meeting another one of these crew. And again, it's an
Because it's the
energetic thing.
same blueprint in almost every bloody place when it goes into the corporate
But it's the
structures.
same in schools, right? So you can
Yeah.
have a kid
Yeah.
that's been
Sorry.
relentlessly
Anywhere. Sorry.
bullied
It's
by
hospitals. It's
somebody
everything.
else for
It's, yeah.
months. And
Yeah.
eventually they, and I'm not saying it's the right thing. It's not maybe saying it's the wrong thing, but they have a little holiday for a reason and they pop them on the nose.
Yeah.
Bullied kid is suspended. Well,
Yeah.
everybody gathers around the bully and oh gosh, that's physical violence is awful. Has broken this child over a period of
Yeah.
months.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're all right with that. That's not a problem. And so I just think that, and this goes back to what I mean. All of our systems are broken, all of them, because we keep being
Hmm.
told and believing things that we know aren't true. You know,
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
tell the teacher,
Yeah.
sure, if you don't want anybody to talk to you ever from kindergarten through college,
Yeah. Yeah.
use that as your strategy. We tell ourselves, we tell our children, we teach our children these things. We know they're not true.
Well, it's kind of like they become snowflakes then in the real world. If you know the what you were saying earlier about you do your hard work, do your homework, do the right thing all the time, and then you come out into the real world, and
Mhm.
when I was in investment management, literally those
Very
type,
toxic.
yeah, oh. Oh my
Wolf of Wall
gosh.
Street, how are you?
Yeah. Oh, I met all the cliche types,
Mm.
you know?
Yes.
I mean, some of them, I had great times with these people too, and they're not all bad. And
Oh,
it's the system you're in. I could also look back at the times that I worked with them and go, God, these people are kind of victims in their own right too.
they
You know,
are, of
they're
course.
highly stressed. They barely have any time for themselves. Most of them have had turbulent times with their family, either because they're not around, or
Or because they
whatever.
were
They,
around.
yeah, yeah. Imagine COVID in a household
Mm.
with someone who's gone down a very wrong path, and is to fill that void. It's the status, it's the money, it's the whatever, the lifestyle, all of that stuff instead of the wholesome values that could make them really fill that void. It's like going
Mm.
to a community event. That's where you see the happiest people. They're doing something
Always.
together with their people and they're having fun. And, it might be in aid of cancer or whatever. of someone stricken with some misfortune in the community, and it's the happiest you'll see people, and they're going towards the new car, the new whatever, and it's kind of sad. So and then they lash out because they do become apathetic, and they have done the deal with, say, the bully, and that they know that their integrity is slipping away bit by bit by bit,
And
and
they
they're
sink into
conforming
apathy.
to this big uh, overarching power. And they've also seen people speak up who have then been sidelined
Yes,
out of the game
yes,
because
because
there's
we all
nothing
know
to
what
shoot.
happens.
Say,
The messenger gets shot.
yeah. So they stay quiet and then they conform and they know it's better because they might get their promotion or whatever, and it keeps going. And then you become this kind of apathetic human being who also turns into that bully. So you kind of look at them and go, Jesus Christ, you are also quite a massive victim in this
They are.
with your
They
back pain
are.
and your
But
whatever.
if
But
you
also they
are,
need to be called out.
they do. Like my sympathies are limited, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, because they do get called out, and they're like, "I'm so sad and I'm so hurt," and I'm like, "You weren't so sad and so hurt when like six other people in your department are constantly in therapy because of
And
the
those
nonsense that you go on with every day."
Yeah, and those say some of them are psychopaths and whatever.
Hmm.
Then they go to therapy themselves and cry their eyes out. Uh,
Yes,
if they
maybe
have
less
that feeling, I
convincingly.
don't know what's wrong. It's like, well,
Yeah,
if you were kind of
it's
trying
not
to go
really
the right
hard.
direction and try to be doing the honorable, make the honorable choices, maybe you wouldn't feel so fucking bad about everything. Yeah,
You have choices. I think the further up the food chain those people are, the less sympathy I have. The
yeah,
more you are in charge of your little corner of the universe, the more accountability I expect you to take. So if
yeah.
you're, asserting yourself as the manager and you're the person in charge, and you say things like, well, again, freedom without limits, just a word, baby. So let me introduce you to the concept of consequences. If you want to be in charge, and a lot of people want to be in charge, but without any of the pesky consequences, what they want is,
Mm,
power to make others miserable. And I enjoy that too. Let me show you. And
yeah,
so, like, I have a very limited tolerance for this stuff, but I think that it's time as we look at the world now in chaos that it is, that we start calling this stuff out and saying these things don't work. The world
yeah.
as presented to us is a lie. Things don't work the way that we're told that they do. And so, probably where I would sum up our little kind of insanely
This is
spiral kaleidoscope
This
conversation.
has nothing to do with what I wanted to talk to you about.
We'll get to that in a
Yeah.
second. But theory is hard men create good times create weak men,
Mhm.
weak men create bad times create hard men ad infinitum.
Yeah,
And we are on the bad
100%.
times of
100%.
that cycle. That's where I think that we are.